Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Tips to Top the Unofficial Bar. Today I have with me a very senior lawyer in the legal profession who has been a teacher for generations and a leading counsel in many civil matters, and he's Dr. Sunil Coorey. He's going to share with us tips to top the unofficial bar. Welcome to the interview, sir. I thank you for your time giving for this interview. Let's first discuss about the beginning of your professional career. Which year you entered the profession and how was the beginning?
Well, I took my oaths in January of 1972 as an advocate of the Supreme Court at that time. When I first took my oaths in 1972, the legal profession was divided into two branches. That is advocates and proctors. And I had happened to join the law college in 1969 with my LLB from the University of Colombo as an advocate student. And I completed my final exam in 1971, and I joined the legal profession by taking oaths as an advocate in January of 1972.
So, under whom you did the apprentice? And
I was happy to be apprenticed under a very senior and leading lawyer at the time, Mr. H.L. De Silva, who later became a president's counsel.
When you entered the profession, so have you had any idea that you will do civil or will do criminal, or will you become a proctor or advocate?
Well, I was always going to be an advocate because I took my oaths as an advocate. I didn't like the work of instructing attorney. I much preferred, and I thought I would be enjoying the work of an advocate as counsel, and that is the wish I had from the very beginning.
You have been a teacher for so many years for law college students. Would you like to mention that as well?
Yes, actually I became a teacher of law in 1970. When I was about 23 years old. I started lecturing at Aquinas University College at that time, which was preparing students who were getting ready to sit the LLB examination of the University at Colombo as external students. There was a preliminary examination and a final examination, and I was lucky to be chosen as a lecturer at that young age, and actually that to some extent shaped my life because I started lecturing at an early age and I really enjoyed it. If I had not been a lecturer, probably I would have joined the Attorney General's department and ended up in a different way. Maybe I would have joined the judiciary eventually. But the fact that I became a lecturer and got some pocket money, at least in that sense, at the very early stages, and I could stand on my own 2 feet with my lecture fees, made me to prompt to be in the unofficial bar and take to lecturing in various places, and then be a counsel.
Before we further proceed on this interview,
yes.
I should mention about the book you produced recently. Yes. You have written a comprehensive book on the administrative law, which is a much welcome literature for the Sri Lankan legal system, and to which you were awarded the doctorate from the University of Colombo.
Yes,
would you like to mention that as well, because it is very important, senior lawyers like yourself giving the knowledge to the legal profession through quality books like this?
Well, I'm very happy that I was able to bring out this publication, not to get any sort of award at the university, but actually I wrote it from the very beginning for my own education and for my own use. I've been collecting material on this subject of administrative law, which fascinated me from my early days in the university. Our lecturer was Dr. Coorey in the university, who first taught us administrative law in the first year of the university. And then I started collecting material on the subject, and after maybe about in 1998 or so, that's about maybe nearly 30 years, or 28 years, I was able to arrange that material into the form of a book called Administrative Law. and administrative law is the subject close to my heart, because I think that subject pervades every other legal subject. And so I brought up the first edition in 1998, and then a second edition in 2001. On the second edition, I was awarded the PhD by the University of Colombo in 2006, and thereafter I brought out a third edition in 2 volumes, Volume 1 and Volume 2. That was in the year 2012, last year.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Sir, let's move on to the second question of my interview. For you, with these long years of experience in the bar, you must be having number of experience, incidents from which others can learn, particularly the law students like myself and young lawyers. Would you like to share some of those examples and experience which will be helpful for us?
When I started life as a lawyer way back in 1972, facilities were very limited. There were hardly any photocopies, there were no computers, there were only typewriters, and we had hardly any means of transport of our own. I couldn't afford any transport of myself, so I totally depended on public transport. I think I bought a scooter for my use somewhere in 1978. That's about 79, 7 years after I started work. And then in 83 I bought a car, and that's how it was. And I bought a computer for the first time in 1988. And thereafter I got the opportunity to put my book out, because without a computer I don't think I would have ever brought out any publication at all, because it's so tedious to be writing out and getting people to edit it and so on and so forth. So life was very difficult at that time, but we withered through it, we enjoyed it, and that's how it is.
So you appeared in both original courts and appellate courts.
Yes.
Would you like to share some of the experience you had?
Yes, as a young lawyer, we couldn't really choose the work we would like to do. We had to take anything that came our way. So I used to take up criminal work as well as civil, appeals as well as original, and mainly we first depended on retainers from the state, that is in the high courts. They used to retain us for in serious criminal cases.
Like as assigned counsel?
As assigned counsel, exactly. As assigned counsel. I did a lot of work as assigned counsel. And then of course I must say this, that my father was also a lawyer, and he helped me with some civil work. And I learned a lot of work, things like partition and land work from my father. And that's how I got briefs in civil work. When I started getting work in civil cases, I quietly gave up criminal work because I preferred to do civil. I thought it was going to be a more steady source of income as well. And as I told you, I was also a lecturer. I was lecturing in the Aquinas University till about 1984 or so, until they abolished the external students of the Colombo University. And then at the same time, I got myself appointed as a lecturer at the law college, which I started in January of 1974, and I went on continuously in the first year subject of the legal history and legal system of Ceylon for 10 full years, till December of 83, December of 83. And by that time, of course, as I told you, I had stabilized myself as an original court lawyer, because that's the work I got originally. My father was, of course, a proctor, so he also didn't do any appeal work. So I started off that way, and I persevered in my profession because I really enjoyed the work I did.
So you are another successful personality in the legal profession. Your students some of them are judges in high courts, in appeal courts, and in the legal profession, senior lawyers.
And even the President of the Republic is a student of mine at Law College.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, what is your success in terms of to coming to this level? Because in terms of time, you have appeared in both original and appellate courts as acting counsel. Still you do that, and you taught law for a number of years to the law students, and also you spent your time on books. So how do you manage this time, and what is the success of your life?
Well, I think, put it very briefly, I think the success of what I have achieved is that you have to enjoy what you do and do what you enjoy, what you like to do. You must choose a field where you like. Well, if it is going to be a drudgery for you, some particular work you do, you may not succeed in that. That's my belief. You must like the work you do and do the work you like, basically. So if I may expand on that, I was very happy to do counseling work because it gave me a thrill, and especially in the original court, to cross-examine witnesses, how you prepare your work. It's really thrilling. And in the appeal court side, of course, it's also very nice to argue points of law, to research the law, to come across difficult cases and then to see whether you can have a way out. Those are very interesting challenges in your professional life, which I really enjoyed. And I think you should really enjoy the work you do, not go for a really monetary gain. If you enjoy your work, I think you'll get somewhere.
So finally, what is your views about the law students and young lawyers who have entered the profession and who are expecting to become eminent personalities like yourself in the profession? What is your advice to them if they want to succeed in this profession?
Well, I would say they must first of all decide for themselves whether they like the type of work they do, and then decide whether they can continue. I believe that anyone will succeed if you do the work you like and like the work you do. Otherwise it may not be very successful for you. So that's the first important thing. And whether you are a lawyer in the civil field or criminal field, original, appellate and so on, you must decide on what you like to do. Secondly, of course, you have to keep to the standards of professional conduct. For instance, you must never be untruthful. You must always advise your clients to be truthful, to come out with the truth, to tell the truth, because I believe that it's easier to tell the truth and win cases rather than tell the untruth to try to win cases. Because the truth has a funny way of impressing people, judges, and that will go down so that you can win your case. So another thing I want to say is that there may be obstacles in your life. For instance, I have faced obstacles like difficult judges. I built my practice mainly around the district court of Negombo, where I was practicing for a long time as an original court lawyer in civil work. And there was at one stage a particular judge before whom I lost almost every case of mine.
Is it because the judge didn't like you, or?
Well, there was some other reason perhaps which I don't think I should say in public, because the judge was of course a little bit not a very straight person.
But so, I'm sure the results in the appeal.
Yes. So in every case in which I had persuaded my clients to appeal, of course in every case they couldn't appeal because they may have been too poor, or they may have been not interested in appealing. So wherever they appealed, we won the appeal. So that was something, and I was of course never harsh. I never raised my voice in court as some lawyers try to do. I put my head down and did my job. And I must say, that's the art of handling a hostile judge. Okay. The art of handling a hostile judge is to keep calm, recollect yourself, because if you don't do that, you'll forget what to do in the case. Right. You won't handle your case properly. If you are an angry man, you will not be doing your proper job. So you recollect and keep your cool and do your job. And when the judge goes wrong, you can always put him right in appeal.
It is very interesting. So I think you shared with us very valuable and interesting points about the way you worked and your success. I believe the young lawyers and law students will watch this and think about the way they practice and the way they should practice. And I finally thank you for your time to sharing this experience and knowledge with us, and I wish you all the best.
I'm happy that you interviewed me and I was able to say something. I hope but I said will be of some assistance to somebody somewhere someday.
Thank you very much.
Thank
sir.
you.